Samsung recently released the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8, and ZDNet's Matt Miller has had his hands on one of these devices. Matt, you took this to a conference recently. I'm interested to see how it performed at a conference. What was its size like? How did it do? Just what you thought about the device overall, and then we'll get into the specs.
So Samsung announced the Tab S8, and everybody's eyes were on the Tab S8 Ultra. It's a 14-inch tablet with AMOLED displays and all kinds of amazing technology and everything else. They also announced the Tab S8, I think it's the Plus, and then the Tab S8. And what they sent me to review was the Tab S8, and I was like, oh, I didn't get the top end, big, flashy one. But I have to say, after 2 weeks of using this, I really like the Tab S8. And as you mentioned, I did have the chance to take it on a conference for 5 days. So I used it on the airplane both ways, used it at the conference. I actually used the SPen, comes with the SPen, unlike the iPads. Used the SPen, took notes in Samsung Notes the whole time. It was awesome. And one of the reasons, so this is the Tab S8, the back of it. This is the silver one. And here's the front. It is pretty small, as you can kind of see there. It's an 11-inch tablet. And so that kind of makes it super portable, in either portrait mode or landscape mode, walking around with. And I have a iPad 12.9 that's just a big beast, and it's kind of a laptop replacement. So I really kind of started to I don't know if the 11-inch is going to cut it for me or not, but it's an 11-inch. It does have LCD. So one thing you've seen a lot on the tabs and the Samsung phones is, of course, Samsung's AMOLED, right? Really dark blacks and brilliant colors and things. I didn't honestly even notice that this was an LCD display until I started looking up the specs. I'm like, oh, I guess, yeah, the blacks aren't as black and the colors aren't as punchy. But to be honest, I hardly knew that it was a different display on there. It has the 120 hertz refresh rate, super crisp fonts. I mean, it's a nice display, despite it not being AMOLED. It is powered by that Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 processor. This version is a Wi-Fi version. That currently is the only thing they have available, but there are AT&T and T-Mobile 5G versions of this coming. And this one that I have is the 128, 8 gigs of RAM, 128 internal storage. It's available for $699.99. And then you could upgrade that to the 256 gigabyte for $779. So for $80 more, you can double the memory on it. It does have a micro SD slot, so you don't necessarily have to go for the most memory, because you can upgrade easily with a micro SD card. And I believe that supports all the way up to the 1 terabyte cards too. It does, so there's a couple of reasons I was using it, especially on the plane at first, for media, right? And I was using Bluetooth headphones and things like that, but it does have quad stereo speakers. So that's something a lot of times when you see the entry-level tablet, they usually go back to a dual speaker setup. But this has, the quad speakers. You can kind of see it on the end, maybe there. And they sound pretty dang good. It does have an 8,000 milliampere battery. And I was able to, at the conference, these conferences started at like 9, went to 6:30. I was able to use it all day long, and the battery would drop to maybe 50%. I mean, this thing is definitely a multi-day tablet. It weighs in at 1.1 pounds. It's not too heavy or anything like that. A couple things I really like too on it is the fingerprint scanner. I have to say, even after a couple of years of these under display scanners, I'm not a huge fan of those. I especially don't like, I tested out the Tab S7 Plus, I believe it was last year. I don't like when a tablet has it, because on a big, huge screen like this, it's never really that convenient to find a place to put your thumb. Unlike a phone, it's hard to find your place to put your finger or thumb on the display to unlock it. So thankfully, this one has it in the power button itself. And that's really convenient, especially up top. You can just lay your finger right on there, unlock it, and you're off and running. It does have a center front-facing 12 megapixel camera, which is good for, of course, video calling and things like that. And then on the back, it does have a 13 megapixel regular camera and a 6 megapixel wide, ultra wide camera. So you can scan documents and things like that. I mentioned it does come, one thing that's nice, the Samsung does include their SPen with the tablet. It's not an extra cost or anything. And it just magnetically attaches and charges wirelessly on the back. They also sent along their keyboard accessory. And for this one, you simply rest it on the keyboard stand. And it's kind of odd a little bit because you prop it up like that. It doesn't just have an angle, but so there's only one angle on this current keyboard stand. It does not have backlighting on the keyboard or anything, but it is a very functional one. And of course, you can then close it up and carry it. And this is what I did at the conference. I just carried this, no laptop bag or anything else. Just carried this along with the SPen, took all my notes, everything else I needed to do. It's a very nice tablet, and I've changed my opinion. I'm like, I don't think I need a 14-inch tablet because I'm carrying around a laptop, right? This is something very convenient. The media was great. On the airplane, it fit on the tray table along with a little bit of food. I also should mention, as a business device and things like that, it does fully support DeX, right? And on a tablet, unlike a phone experience, the phone experience with DeX is it connects to an external monitor with DeX. On the tablet itself, you can just turn on DeX mode, and it's DeX mode on the tablet itself. So, you get all the full access to everything that's in that kind of mode, with splitting the screens and doing all the neat things that DeX has built into it. So you get kind of you can have your separate experiences. You can have an Android tablet experience and then switch over to DeX and have kind of a desktop experience at the same time.
I think it's really cool that this comes with all of the accessories. You're not paying that extra price. And what'd you say? It was like $700?
$700, right? Yeah. And absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the SPen, I didn't talk much about that, but like the S22 Ultra, it has been updated too. The latency on this pen is down to, I think somewhere 4 microseconds or something. I mean, it's virtually non-existent. I mean, it's just flows when you write. And the nice thing is, even if I had my hand resting on the tablet the whole time. And so the palm rejection was wonderful. I mean, I could sit there with my hand resting on there at the conference, tablet on my lap, and just write smooth. And then it even, it supports all the different angles and the pressures and all that kind of thing. And on this screen, it just flows very nicely. It was just a great experience as far as the SPen goes. And it has, it charges on the display, so it supports all the air actions. It has the button. So to erase, you just push the button and squiggle and erase. And it's really, really functional and capable, easy to use.
All right, Matt, thank you so much for testing out this device and telling us all about it. As always, we have Matt's written review linked right down below. You can check that out in the description box if you want to see some of those specs written out. It's a little bit easier to digest sometimes. And as always, we do have this product linked right below to make it super easy for you to find. If you love the Galaxy Tab S8, if you hate it, if you have opinions on it, we'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to stick with ZDNet for all things tech.